Hey Meyer Hatchery peeps, it's Amanda Haney here with Jess, also from the remote team.
Oh my goodness.
She so graciously invited me to come over today to cook with
Worms.
worms.
We're cooking with mealworms.
And I have to say, that's something I've never done, so I can check that off my bucket list. So as people are popping on here, please let us know where you're viewing from and the current temperature here in Northeast Ohio. Are we in Northeast Ohio
We
at
are.
this location?
Absolutely. We're
Okay.
right along the lake here, and it was 14 degrees.
Oh,
so.
14 degrees here, but the sun is shining. So let us know what your temperatures are today.
Awesome.
So, Jess, before we start cooking, you have something to show us.
Yes, absolutely. Amanda, I've had kind of a weird hobby the last month and a half. I'm known for my weird hobbies.
Okay.
But I've been raising mealworms. I have a mealworm farm inside of here.
Wait. If you have a mealworm farm, let us know, because I want to see how many people have weird hobbies just like Jess.
All right, so this is how my mealworm farm is set up. And I have two reasons for this big container. First, this is my first mealworm farm. And I learned that they can wiggle their way out sometimes. So
Oh, that would be kind of creepy.
yeah, it was quite the surprise. So we put them inside this Rubbermaid container here. And also, mealworms like a warmer kind of temperature, so this keeps them nice and warm and happy. So let's peek on inside here.
So warmer temperature, meaning you can't just raise them in the garage.
Absolutely,
Okay.
right. So you want to make sure it's about 60 to 70 degrees. That's their like optimum temperature. So if we take a look inside here, we have drawers inside of drawers inside of drawers. So
I can honestly say I don't have worms in my drawers at home.
oh, well that's good. Yeah, and they're good in this setup here, but not in your regular drawers. So the way that I've set it up is I have 6 drawers here, and we'll kind of start at the beginning. This is our beetle drawer here, and I put these little pieces of plastic canvas on top to kind of keep those beetles in there. But there's our beetles, and look at all the pupas here too. So they've been hatched.
So what are they eating? You have to feed them, right?
Absolutely. So you want to feed them something that's just going to give them moisture. So it can be carrots, it could be potatoes. Today they got apples. Actually, they got this yesterday, and look at how much they've eaten off of there. So this is our beetle drawer, and I'll put this back in here because the beetles are the ones that like to escape. And we'll slide that back inside there.
Yeah, you guys stay in there.
Yeah, please. And underneath, inside the bottom of this drawer here, I'll show you, there is an opening down here. And that is to collect the eggs. So this is kind of our nursery in here. These are where the eggs are dropping through. And a beetle escaped in there. What? We'll have to get him out of there. But this is where all the eggs are going to drop down. And it takes about 4 weeks for the eggs to hatch. So we've had our beetles for about 2 weeks. So we should start seeing some baby worms in here. So this is the nursery.
That beetle just wants to go broody.
I think so. I think so. Absolutely. And on this drawer, I use kind of like a cornmeal mixture for their bedding. This way, the little worms are nice and protected in there. And there's some little pieces in there. So we should have some baby worms here. When they get to a bigger size, they will go in this drawer here. And this is a mix of their cornmeal and their oats. This is kind of like kindergarten right here.
Oh.
Yes, so they'll go inside there. I have an extra drawer right now that's empty. There was some kind of teenager mealworms in here, but they've grown up. But this is where they live inside of there, so that's just what the drawers are. And this drawer here is our mealworms. And these are our adult mealworms, and they're actually starting to pupate. So they're changing into these little pupas here. And later, when you leave, Amanda, I got to sort all these pupas out of here, unless you want to start helping me getting all these out of here.
Oh, you know, I've always wanted to sort pupas.
And again, on this drawer, there's holes at the bottom again, because no waste, right? So we're collecting their castings down here. And this
What are castings?
They're mealworm poop.
Poop, okay.
All right, so we've got
Not everybody knows what that is.
So our mealworm poop is in here, and we dump this periodically into a bucket, and this will go into our garden in the springtime. So
nothing goes to waste.
absolutely, absolutely. So we're gonna go ahead and put these back in here. We don't want any escapers in here.
No.
And we'll just cover them up, and they'll be nice and warm in there. And what do you think? You ready to do some cooking with mealworms?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we're gonna head on into the kitchen over here, and we're not actually cooking with the live mealworms today.
Okay.
So we've got some dried mealworms here that we're going to cook with.
Let's do it. I feel like we're like on Martha Stewart or Julia Child show, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right, so I've got two recipes here, and they're both inspired. I went to Lisa Steele's blog. I love the Fresh Eggs Daily blog. I'm on there a lot. So this recipe is inspired by a recipe that I found on her blog. So we'll start with one that you bake. So we're going to set our oven. Actually, go ahead and turn the oven on to 325 degrees.
Okay.
And we're going to mix this particular treat up. This is a baked treat. We're going to mix this one in the mixer. So let's go ahead and start putting our pieces in. So if you want to start handing me.
You want cinnamon first?
Yeah, so we're going to put a teaspoon of cinnamon in here. And the cinnamon is good for your chicken's kind of like respiratory health and so forth. So I always put that inside of there.
What would you like next?
Let's do this one right here.
Okay.
All right, so it kind of looks like the mealworm castings,
does.
but it's not. This is whole wheat flour, and I've got about 1/4 cup of the whole wheat flour, so that's going to go inside of there.
I'm glad it's not the casting.
Yeah, that would be not good.
Your
Yes.
chickens appreciate that.
Actually, yes, very much so. All right, so what do we got next here?
So what's in here?
We've got a mix of cracked corn, and we've got feed as well, and we're going to put that in there.
So I see you use pelleted feed. Could you use a crumble?
Absolutely, absolutely. My chickens they're a little, what's the word, pampered, and they like the pellets, so they wouldn't eat the other one, but absolutely, you could use that.
And then oats.
Absolutely, a cup of just old-fashioned oats go in there. Great for when it's 14 degrees outside.
And then what is this sticky stuff?
Oh, that is some molasses, and molasses is really good for your chickens, gives them a little bit of energy, and I use about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of the molasses, so go ahead and put that in there.
Molasses is actually good to add to your baby chick water too. If you don't have a Vital Pack or an electrolyte solution, you can add a couple tablespoons of molasses to your chick water, and that'll help hydrate them.
Absolutely. All right. And then,
what is this?
Oh, we've got to add some eggs, and we have an egg scale here, and I thought we could do a science experiment.
Okay? Oh, let's do it.
All right, so I have a couple different eggs here from my flock. I've got one from a golden buff. I've got my olive egger, a blue Americana, and a silky. So let's see. We wanted to see how much they weighed.
And see, there is a size difference.
There definitely is a size difference, but it's always fun to kind of see how big they actually are. So let's see. We'll put on our silky egg here. In between small and peewee. That's good, that's good. All right, Amanda, you can do the next one while I crack this.
Okay, I'm going to do the olive egger.
All right.
Whoop.
That's a good size egg.
That's considered a large egg.
Very good, very good. All right, and let's see.
Are we using all of these eggs?
Yes, I'm going to put between 3 and 4 eggs in here. So
okay, let's see what our Americana gives us. Whoa.
Whew. That's a big egg. That's extra large.
Extra large.
All right. And our last one. I've always wanted to know how much that one weighs.
Golden Buff. Golden Buffs are amazing layers.
Absolutely.
Want a good, hearty, excellent layer? Golden Buff is your breed. That is like beyond extra large.
That is a beyond one.
I think we need like a jumbo area.
Exactly, exactly. Very good. All right, so I've added all of these. I'll add these eggs in here, and Amanda, you get to do the last step. We need 1/4 cup of the dried mealworms.
Okay, I can do that.
All right, go ahead and mix those on in there.
And it doesn't have to be perfect, probably, right?
No, not at all.
If they get a little extra, they won't complain.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, and then we'll just give this a quick mix here. Let's see, ready? Super quick mix. All right, and if you want to grab our pie pan that we're going to use.
Oh yes, we're baking pie for the
Baking
chickens.
pie for the chickens. Okay. And just a quick mix. The chickens don't mind if there's any chunks of anything in there. Okay.
And just remember, as you're popping on, let us know where you're viewing from and the current temperature outside.
Okay. And we're just going to take this and we'll dump it inside of our pan here. And we're going to bake it at 325 degrees. I'm not sure if I said, for 30 minutes. Ooh, this is a nice big
Oh, I can smell molasses. It smells so good.
Absolutely. And just kind of really push that in there. You could split this into 2 pans too if you wanted, so you have plenty of extra. I use the 30 minutes as a starting point. If I notice it's still a little like kind of moisture, there's a lot of moisture left, I'll leave it back in or put it back in for about 10-15 minutes. and then I actually let it sit out overnight so it's nice and firm before I give it to my chickens.
So it's not like a cake where you stick the knife in to see if it's done. It's just if it looks dry and firm,
right.
You're good to go?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the last step, if you would like, is you can take a straw and you can put a little hole inside of here and you can put a string there after it's all baked.
Oh, so when you take it out of the pan, you can hang it up in your coop and it's a boredom buster.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially, oh my goodness, with it being so cold. So actually, we'll go ahead and just stick this right on in here. All right, and we've got one more treat. One more, I'm so excited. So we've got, what I do is I save, you can go ahead and put that there. I save bacon fat when I'm cooking.
Who doesn't want a bit of bacon fat?
I know, right? Especially this time of year. So I save whatever extra I have and I use it to make a really quick treat that you can actually put in the freezer. So if you don't want to turn your oven on, you can do this one. It's really quick and it'll go in the freezer overnight. So to make this one, you can go ahead and dump those on in there. We've got a 1/2 cup of feed and 1/2 cup of cracked corn. We've got a 1/2 cup of oats. Those will go in there. And let's see, oh, let me grab this for you. We're going to put another teaspoon of cinnamon inside of there. Take that off. Make it hard for you to get in there.
Doo-doo-doo.
All right.
I was not trained for cinnamon.
We'll go ahead and put
We do
that.
the bam.
Yeah, poof. All right, good, good. And then I like to add, using our 1/4 cup again, some bird seeds. So something that has those like black sunflower seeds. The chickens really like that as an extra treat. So we can go ahead and dump that on it.
Try not to spill it.
That's all right. All right, cool. And we've got about, I don't know, 6 ounces or so of the bacon fat in here. And we'll go ahead and dump that in. And lastly, I almost forgot, what are we missing?
Worms!
Yay! So you could go ahead.
You got a 1/4 cup?
Yeah. This you could go a little bit over. The chickens don't mind.
Okay, a rounded 1/4 cup. How about that?
Perfect. Awesome. I grab our stirrer here and I'll stir this all up. So here's how it looks when it's all mixed together. Oh, look at that.
That looks just so appetizing.
So many worms in there. So many worms. And the reason that we're using the dehydrated mealworms is you really don't want to cook with the live worms. And there are steps that you can look up on, online that'll show you how to dehydrate them. But the notes that I found when dehydrating the mealworms was they can have a little bit of a smell. So I've already got them dehydrated for me. That was good.
So if you want to do your own mealworm thing, the best way to do it is have a dehydrator set aside just for your mealworms, so that when you dehydrate other foods like fruit leathers, they don't have the mealworm scent.
Exactly. All right.
And we also talked, like, if it was summertime, you could place them outside to dry as long as you put a screen over it, because otherwise the birds would think you're feeding them.
Absolutely. All right, and then to finish this one up, I had a container, little plastic container. I cut the top off. We'll take this and I'll kind of just push this down. Oh, it smells so bacony right now.
Bacony.
And we'll just put this in the freezer, and you want to let it sit for a day or two and it'll really firm up. And you could tie a string on it and hang it in your chicken coop, or you can put it into one of their feed trays so they can eat it and they enjoy it. And I know our chickens will eat it in about 15 seconds. So
do you typically have to cut the carton off, or does it slide out pretty easy?
it depends. You can use different fats. So I've used coconut oil and that one slid right out. When I've used the bacon fat, I've actually had to cut the edge off, but just, it just depends on the fat, and it's easy to cut this off and put it in the recycling.
So keep that in mind when you're finding a container to use. Don't use one of your good Tupperwares.
Exactly.
Just in case you have to cut it off.
Exactly. You could even use one of those silicone kind of baking, like the muffin tins and stuff. You can use those as well.
You just bend and flex
Pop
and
it
get
in.
it out. Oh my goodness. So these treats have a lot of good proteins in them, which is really, really good for cold weather. Or when your flock just looks a little down and needs something to uplift them. Because sometimes we as humans need a little bit of a treat, and it kind of boosts our energy and makes us happy. So giving them high protein treats like this is really, really good, especially when we have days like today, which is like 14 degrees.
Right.
Even though the sun is shining, it just it's just cold.
Right, exactly. Very good.
Oh my goodness. Well, this was so much fun.
Oh my, super excited.
Wow.
All right.
The stove's even singing to us. So before we leave you guys, don't forget to check our blog. I think the recipe is on the blog as well. So blog.meyerhatchery.com. And then also visit our snazzy YouTube channel, because this video will be posted just in case you've forgotten anything or you want to share it with a friend, please do. And then we have a couple of other fun things that's going on right now. Tomorrow is March 1st, if you can believe it or not.
Goodness, yeah.
Oh, somebody said online, January seems like it lasts forever and February just flies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's so true. So we are also participating, okay, so March 1st is tomorrow, which starts the March Hatch-along.
Hatch-along, yes.
Okay, and there's different members of the remote team that are hatching different types of poultry, so that'll be really fun to follow along because you'll get an inside view on their experiences. And Jess, you're going to be hatching what?
Bantams.
Bantams.
Yes.
Okay. And don't worry, if you're not ready by tomorrow with your incubator and your fertile eggs, we have one of our remote team members who's patiently waiting for her bantam ducks to start laying. So hopefully she'll be setting her eggs in the incubator mid-March. So follow along, post your results, post your experiences. We'd love to see. Also, Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram already, please do. There's so many fun things going on right now. We're participating in a giveaway with We're the Warrens. So join us on Instagram for that fun giveaway. I believe Meyer Hatchery is giving away up to 15 chicks.
Yes.
And who doesn't want more chicks?
Oh my goodness.
Spring
yes.
fever.
Yes.
So yes, there's lots of fun things. Hatch along, join the Instagram page, follow us on YouTube. If you have any questions, feel free to chat us on the website or give us a call or email us at info@meyerhatchery.com. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining us today, and have a warm day.
Bye.